Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. So obviously the dust has settled on Fury Usyk 2 press conference in London, in Guildhall, very impressive, iconic venue. The same one that Dubois Joshua did as well. A lot of interest around it. Obviously Usyk's rocked up in his Hitman attire. Fury being Fury, sort of comical with Barbie girl and very much a hat and kind of, very casual dressed, whereas obviously Usyk wanted to make a statement with his suit and Hitman style and new shaved hair. It's all fun and games, but let's get down to the real talk. A lot of people said that Fury looked humbled, looked quiet, and he definitely had a more quiet demeanour this time, which some people are thinking, is this a worry? Should I be worried? But actually, let's be honest, it doesn't really matter what goes on outside, of a press conference. The main thing is how you train, how you're looking in training, and B, how you look, of course, in the ring in 2 months' time in rehab. But for me, he did look more mellowed. He looked chilled. I think he looked focused as well. Some people were saying, he looks fed up and drawn and bored with boxing. He looks a little bit depressed. I just think he looked quite, laid back. He's almost like he's been there and done this now. He's done it 1,000 times. I think he knows as well. The hard work starts now. It's all well and good talking, but he's got to get into camp. I quite like, though, what he was saying in terms of, listen, I'm not going to do a million things different because I think you've got to be careful with Usyk. You can't just go from A to Z because, quite frankly, he's spot on. Had he not have had that horrendous round 9 where he completely switched off and then took him 2 rounds to recover from that, because he won that last round 12, he would have won the fight. I mean, he was dominating. The first 2 rounds, I was like, come on, Tyson, what are you doing? You look sloppy. But then from round 3 to 7, he was battering Usyk, not just beating him, battering him. And he very almost stopped him in round 6. Usyk was beat up, and you got all these fanboys of Usyk on social medias. And obviously, they don't like Fury because he's outgoing and successful, and he doesn't tick their PC boxes. But he was battering him. And you saw, didn't you? The video evidence is there. Video evidence. After round 7, they get the cross out in Usyk's corner. They're praying with him. They're saying, do it for your family, do it for your daughter. That's how battered he was. He had a badly busted jaw, busted nose. He was beaten up after that fight. Fury just didn't put the icing on the cake. I think he should have jumped on Usyk. I thought the fight was over in round 6. He kind of carried on toying with him like a cat with a ball. He should have jumped on him. Another vicious uppercut, and Usyk was down. There's no question about it. He was in all kinds of trouble. Usyk's a fantastic fighter. We know he's tough and he's very good at masking pain. We know that, but we know he was hurt because he took a backward step back. He was badly rocked, and he was in pain. And, I think that's got to be the tactic for Fury. He's got to stay switched on, and I like the fact he said that. He recognises that. He's got to keep his head up, guard up at all times, and he's got to realise that Usyk will bring it every round, even if he's in trouble. He needs to realise he needs to train for a fully tough, hard, gruelling 12 rounds. If he has that mentality, he can slowly pick Usyk apart. And I like the fact he's realising his jab. He's got a huge reach and size advantage. Use it. Jab, 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 jab. Larry Holmes would have played with Usyk in his prime just off that jab. That's what Fury needs to do. He almost needs to go back to Klitschko-esque, I think. Just box and box and box. And then when Usyk tries to get inside, then get him with the uppercut. Go to the body, hammer him. Make him pay when he tries to get too close, but then make him pay when he's on the outside. Obviously, he's got to watch out for that nasty left hand of Usyk. Gets inside and he's always looking to throw it. I think Andy Lee is the perfect coach for that. They've got to train for that southpaw hook because his right hand doesn't do much damage. It's the left hand. So if you take that away from Usyk, he's suddenly in trouble. He's not as great as people say he is. You've got to take that left hand away from him, though. And he's looking to land and get inside always. Now, if he lands, he can stop Fury, I believe. So he has to be very careful. Fury could get knocked out in this fight. And it would break my heart to say that and see it. But, you know, he's taken damage with the wider fights. I don't think his chin is quite as strong as it once was. So I'm not like a Tyson Fury fanboy who says, listen, he's definitely going to win this fight. He has to fight spot on to beat Usyk, and he can do. I know for a fact he can do, and I know he can win that fight. But for me, the big thing is he has to be switched on for 12 rounds. Has to. If he's not, then he's banging trouble again, because obviously Usyk now has got a bit between his teeth. He had that swagger, didn't he? That confidence going into that press conference, which I think can be his doing or it can be his undoing. Fury needs to shut him up though with that jab, that long jab, and I like what he was saying about that. That's going to be key. I think he's got to be careful not to put on too much weight. I think it'd be beneficial being half a stone heavier, maybe 18 stone, so he's got a bit of more punch resistance, because he looked a little bit weak at times in that fight against Usyk the first time round. So he has to make sure he's got punch resistance, because, you know, ultimately Usyk will land. He will land. But, I mean, it's just making sure he doesn't land full on like he did in round 9 and early on in round 2. You know, because that's, you know, I know he's a smaller guy, but he's still 15 and a half stone. And, you know, when he lands sweet, you're going to hurt someone. So take that left hand away. Be, you know, strong physically. You know, bounce Usyk off, push him away when he tries to get inside, and hammer the up body. You know, and then on the outside, jab, jab, jab. But obviously, you know, to do that, I get it. It's not 9 years ago. Can he keep it up like he did against Klitschko? That's a big ask. I think he's got to mix and match his tactics, of course. You know, a bit like Bivol did against Beterbiev last week. You know, a lot of time he's got to box him, keep him at range. But then, of course, when he's getting tired, tie him up, hit him on the uppercut, hit him to the body, and then get back out again. It's going to be a tough ask, though, for Fury to do it, dance away from Usyk for 3 rounds. But ultimately, Usyk's getting older. You say what you want. I know he stays in shape, but he's getting older. Eventually, he's going to have to slow down. We know he's relentless in his pressure, and that's why he's probably favourite, 60-40 favourite for his fight now. But it all depends, doesn't it, how much Fury's got left in terms of will, punch resistance. If he's got the same will he had in the Wilder rematch, then I like his chances a lot. But obviously, you know, Wilder is not the same boxer that you know, obviously Usyk is. You know, Usyk's going to be far harder to catch. So he can't just walk in straight lines and walk him down like he did against Wilder. But he does need to pull it on Usyk at times. I think he needs to mix and match his tactics. But the big thing is when he's walking Usyk down, he still stays, you know, vigilant, that left hand. Because I have a horrible feeling that he could have Usyk in all kinds of trouble walking down and then get caught with a big left as he's going for the knockout and get knocked out himself. So he has to be mindful of that. It's always keeping that phone, so to speak. That, you know, so as he's going for that ramrod right hand, which he can throw now, he's keeping that left hand up. He's keeping his guard up. He has to be switched on at all times, but aggressive. It's, you know, it's a counter, isn't it? It sounds contradictory, but, you know, he knows what I mean. He knows what to do. He just needs to be switched on. He needs to be ready for, you know, Usyk to counter. Because Usyk's smart. And even when he's in trouble, he's looking to throw always. But we know what's coming with Usyk. It's nothing new. He does the same thing every fight. So if you're smart and get your tactics right, I mean, Fury can land and hurt Usyk, no question. Get on that uppercut. But obviously Usyk knows he can hurt Fury as well. But I think being a bit heavier will actually favour Fury. I think his punch resistance will hold up. And he just got to be switched on, like I say. Switched on at all times and take it round by round by round. I just hope he doesn't tire towards the end, you know, because obviously it's been a while since Fury's fought at a pace for 12 rounds. He's normally used to dictating the pace of the fight. Usyk puts the pace on you, so he's got to be ready. The big thing, I think, in this fight, of course, it will be Fury sparring, because he's openly said he didn't actually spar anyone. in terms of head punches, which is going to make a massive difference. So obviously when suddenly you're getting punched in the head, after doing nothing for 4 months, it's going to make a difference. So he needs to have tough sparring like that, get himself ready against southpaws who can throw. So he's conditioned, and that's going to make a big difference, I think, in this fight. I like Fury's chances. Listen, I'm not naive to say, he's definitely going to beat Usyk. Usyk could knock him out. I believe it's not going to go the full 12 rounds this time, but I think Fury needs to train like it will. But Fury can knock Usyk out. I firmly believe that. I totally get why people make Usyk the favourite this time round, especially after round 9. But don't forget about round 6. That's what I'm confident about, holding on to. Yes, I want Fury to win this fight. Being a British fight fan, I want him to take them belts home with him. But I'm not deluded enough to say Usyk can't beat Fury. He can. It has to be the best Fury. It has to be the switched-on Fury. No more showboating. No more hands down. It's not Wilder you're fighting anymore. It's an elite boxer who figures you out and counters you, and is relentless. But it's going to be very interesting. I think Andy Lee and Sugar Hill, they're brilliant coaches. I think John Fury looks like he's out the scene now, which is good, because there were too many voices in that corner. Push pull all the time. In Riyadh, he just let John Fury come to the fight as a fight fan, as a father, cheering his son on. That's what you need, but not in the corner, not causing a massive circus either, because, that's just not good for Tyson. It just, whatever he says, it just causes aggro and distraction. So he needs to get game face on. So yeah, he wasn't as loud and as brash in the press conference. Actually, Usyk was the brash one, wasn't he? But let's see how that plays out. Like I say, Fury, I quite like the low-key Fury. It means he's all business. And I like the fact he's saying he's not going to make huge changes because, I think he doesn't need to do that. It's small, subtle changes like his defence, staying switched on. When he gets Usyk in trouble, you lean on him, hammering the body more, while, obviously keeping a high guard. Little changes, which he knows how to do. He's a great fighter. And he's got to have that mindset, although I don't think it's going to go 12 rounds. I think someone's getting knocked out. He's got to have that mindset of, right, I'm ready for 12 rounds here. But like I say, Usyk can knock Fury out. And I think he knows that, so that will give him that incentive. But also, like I say, Fury, I think, has got to take it to Usyk and slowly break him down. If he does that, he can knock him out. There's no question. And he'll be, unified champion despite the IBF, syndrome of get rid of that belt. Ultimately, that would be fantastic. And I'd like to see Fury then, they have one homecoming defence at Wembley and then retire. That's what I'd like to see. I don't think the Joshua fight's going to happen anymore. Win or lose. Maybe, ironically, if he loses, there's more chance of it happening. But I don't think that's going to happen now. So I'd like him maybe to defend, maybe against Dubois for undisputed again once more, and then retire. But I know some people like a trilogy, of course, if he does win, which could happen as well. So either a trilogy or one homecoming fight. But I'd love it either way to be at Wembley. That's what Fury deserves, for his final fight. But I think he's motivated. I know he gives a lot of talk about, boxing's this, boxing that. But I think he's motivated for his fight, and he needs to be, which is a good sign. So, although, some people say, there's a worrying signs here. He looks disinterested. He looks, quiet. He looks already defeated. I think he looks focused. And I think he looks determined, and I think that's a good look. And I think Usyk needs to realise he's on a fight in his hand now. He can dress up as much as he wants, but ultimately, best versus best, I always favour the bigger man, always. But it's ultimately how much has Fury got left? Is he at his best? I think he's got one great more performance, and ultimately Usyk's the same. How long can he keep going for and going and going and going? Not much longer, although he's disciplined. So everyone's again singing the praise of Usyk. Split decision. I thought it was a draw last time, and that was not the best Fury. So with the best Fury rocks up, let's see. Let's see all the Instagram fanboys. Let's see if they're right or if they're going to be humbled. Personally, I'd love them to be humbled. I'd love it. But again, it's going to need a big performance from Fury. I'm more than aware he can lose his fight, but more excitingly, he can win this fight. And I think he looks focused, ready, and enough of this Tyson Fury hate mob, who've not achieved not an ounce of what he's achieved. Let's get behind our fighter, our British fighter, and cheer him on, because if he wins this, for me, he goes in a Boxing Hall of Fame as one of the greats. So bring it on. Can't wait. December, 2 months away, Riyadh season. The hard work starts now, though. That press conference, it's all fun and games. The squaring off at the end with, Usyk trying to give that ice cold killer stare with his Hitman briefcase. But then ultimately, you saw, didn't you? Fury knows, tickling that belly, tickling that waist. That's what he needs to attack. And to attack well and calculated on December. And if he does that, then I think Fury wins. All right, guys, I'm out. Exciting times ahead. I'll see you back in December with Fury Usyk. See you later.